our feature presentation.
He'll be fine on the mountain.
JB and Darren on the JB and Goldwater Show.
Line drive right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
Watson, touchdown. Hunter Renfrow.
He got him, and it's all over. Coastal Carolina rules the roost. They win the championship. And South Carolina has won the national championship.
The Citadel baseball team has done it again, but this time the Bulldogs beat one of the top teams in the country. They are giant killers. Get the ball to Bennett, and dives.
Gamecocks are in the Final Four.
All right, greetings and a good Friday afternoon, and welcome aboard the JB and Goldwater Show, live, loud, and online, and driven by our friends and yours at Stokes Volkswagen. Find them at stokesvw.com. Find us on the JB and Goldwater app. You can download that, and it's free, and you can have it in your phone and watch and listen to our program daily in its entirety. Check us out anytime you happen to miss something. 12 to 2, of course, is when we are live across all social media platforms at JB and Goldwater, individually at Sports Media JB, and at Darren Goldwater. 843-321-8893 is our text line. If you are out and about and listening or watching our program and figured you'd like to be a part of the conversation and you don't want to get into the social media stuff, just pop us a note there. Text it. Darren sees it. He puts it up on the screen, and we make it a part of what we're doing today, which is a lot over the next couple of hours. It's a great way to end the Friday or in the week on this Friday. Finally, Friday. I feel like, Darren, I don't know about you, but coming back from vacation, it's felt like a month crammed into the last 4 or 5 days. It's been kind of crazy. Looking forward to my vodka cranberry later on.
Wow, we do have bourbon.
Yeah, well, it's so hot. I'm just gonna take a breather from bourbon for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. But Skylar Meade, as you know, has accepted the head coaching position at Troy University. He is going to join us in about 8 minutes at 12:10. Skylar Meade, now former Gamecocks pitching coach and current college baseball head coach in Troy, Alabama, although he is back in Columbia now, kind of tying up some loose ends and getting ready to head back west towards the Yellowhammer State. We'll talk to him about his time in Columbia and certainly look forward to his future over there with the Trojans baseball program, which, by the way, they're about to do some major renovations to the ballpark, and it's going to be beautiful. So maybe a totally new era coming to Troy Trojans college baseball. Watch out, Auburn and Alabama. You're still in the SEC. We know that, but there's some pretty good coaches at Troy and down there at South Alabama, and Mark Calvey, by the way, both former South Carolina pitching coaches. As we noted a couple of days ago. At 12:30, Raphael Esparza with mybookie.ag. He's going to pop in. The Open Championship, of course, is playing right now. We're going to get you updated on that here in just a couple of minutes, and we'll start getting into some football with Raphael because next month it all starts, and so we're looking forward to speaking with him. And then at 1:05, 14th round draft pick of the Baltimore Orioles, Daniel Lloyd, who is from the Low Country. Originally was a hand-to-hand prospect and then went out there to Summerville and departed the Green Wave for South Carolina, an important piece of the puzzle this year in that pitching staff. He's going to join us, and we're going to go back, and then we're going to go forward in his career and in his life as a baseball player. So really looking forward to speaking with Daniel Lloyd coming up in just a little bit. Buy or sell. Today is part 1 of a 7-part buy or sell series. And we will look at win totals for the year for ACC and SEC programs. 4 of those programs today, 4 every week over the next 7 weeks on Fridays. That should tell you that's 28 teams. That would be the total of teams between both conferences. Simple math. Also, Dennis Dodd said a couple of days ago on a podcast here in the state of South Carolina that Shane Beamer has never recruited at this level. Huh? we'll address that in just a little while as well. But before we get to the 2-minute drill, Darren, happy Friday, my friend.
Yeah, no, it's nice that it's Friday. It's nice that it's beautiful weather out in England. So scoring is low at the Open. Morikawa went low, so he's currently got the lead. Spieth and last night's leader, Louis Oosthuizen, they're both going low and chasing Morikawa, both of them just a shot behind him right now, I believe, right at 8 under. Spieth just rolled in a long birdie putt, so we'll be able to keep you updated on that. This is what I like when we're doing this show, when I've got the camera, and right behind the camera I've got golf. So I'm good. I'm good. Not that I'm not paying attention or anything, but multitasking.
Absolutely. It's called multitasking.
That's right.
You have done it before. Well, part of your task is to set us up for the 2-minute drill. That's what we'll start you with, as we always do on Friday afternoons here on the JB and Goldwater Show. As Darren just alluded to, right now currently leading the Open Championship in Kent, England, is American Colin Morikawa. 6 under today. That round is done. He's a shot ahead of another American, as you also just mentioned, 3 under today through 10. That's Jordan Spieth. But he's tied with South Africa's Louis Oosthuizen, who is 2 under through 7. There are some low scores out there, certainly. We will continue to keep an eye on this throughout the day. Tony Finau had a nice day. He was even par entering, and he has exited the second round at 4 under. He is tied for 11th. That moved him up 37 spots on the leaderboard. Currently, the projected cut line, Darren, is only at 1 over. Phil Mickelson won't be on that cut line. He is 12 over, and his second round is done, so his weekend is over. He can enjoy Europe for a while before heading back to the States. The NBA Finals will play this weekend. If you want to watch the NBA Finals, have at it. Darren and I will probably be drinking our drinks and doing whatever we do, but as custom in the NBA Finals, you play a game, then you have a week off, and you play a game. These guys, they really need at least 96 hours of rest. But they're not going to play tonight. They'll play tomorrow night in Phoenix. Series, of course, tied at 2 apiece. Suns, 4-point favorites. We'll talk to Raphael Esparza about that coming up in a little bit. Trade deadline in baseball is coming up on July the 30th. So we got about 2 weeks. Braves have already made a move. I didn't think they'd sell. They're not. Jock Peterson signed yesterday in a trade. Braves traded first baseman in their organization, Bryce Ball, for him. So Jock Peterson will become a mainstay in the outfield for Atlanta. We'll see what other moves are made moving forward. And then finally, congratulations, Debbie Antonelli. Debbie Antonelli will be inducted next Friday into the state of North Carolina's Athletics Hall of Fame, alongside some very notable names like Julius Peppers and Mac Brown and others. I spoke with Debbie this morning. Gene Sapikoff has a wonderful column in the Post and Courier about that. So deserved, and I truly love Debbie Antonelli. I don't know how else to say it. I'm just going to say it like that. I know that you got one, Darren, as well as, I don't know, thousands or more other people from. For those that don't know this, Debbie Antonelli, when she hosts the Nothing But Net 24 hours of free throw shooting, this is the 3rd straight year she's done it. And I think she's raised like $425,000 or something in 3 years, somewhere around there.
Yep.
Debbie writes a handwritten personal note to every single person that donated. Everyone. It doesn't matter if you donated $5, 5 cents, or $5 million. She doesn't care. She writes a personal note to you. And so I actually put mine back here on a little shelf of just little notes and stuff I've had over the years. So it means a lot to me that she even thinks to come back. I mean, Darren, you think about it. I mean, we give to it, but it's not a $10,000 donation or something like that. She doesn't care, man. She thinks about everybody. And that's why she's in the Hall of Fame. She's been doing this her whole career.
We've all gotten gifts. We've all been on the end of, okay, now I got to write thank you notes. And most of us hate it, and most of us don't do it. I don't, because I hate it. But every year she goes through thousands and thousands of them and hand writes them.
Absolutely.
So, that's another tip of the cap.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations, Debbie Antonelli. Next Friday, she'll be up there in North Carolina to be inducted into the state of North Carolina's Athletics Hall of Fame. She is bringing a crowd of 35 with her. That includes extended family, lifelong friends, and things like that. It's going to be really, 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 really special.
Bet she had to turn people away. I bet 35 was like the cut down number for her.
Probably. Knowing Debbie. Yeah, probably. Daniel Lloyd again at 105 today, newly drafted prospect out of South Carolina. He is a right-handed pitcher who's a lot taller than both of his parents, and I'll pick on him about that in just a little bit. Raphael Esparza ahead in Vegas at 12:30. But first and foremost, speaking of thank you notes, this guy deserves a big one from us. Skylar Meade, who has been the pitching coach for the last few years at South Carolina, has recently been named the new head baseball coach at Troy University. The Trojans are getting a special person and one hell of a pitching coach, and he has been kind enough to be a part of our program today. Skylar, I've gotten to know you over the last few years. I consider you a friend, always will. What you did in Columbia was nothing short of brilliant in leading this pitching staff, one of the best in the country. But you're a stand-up human being. I'm so happy for you and your family. Congratulations, my man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me on and getting me on here. Now you gotta let me on again sometime down the road, but I had to come on here and say thank you guys. It's been a staple of weekly and monthly deal since getting to South Carolina in 2018. So I'm gonna miss it a little bit.
We can do this. Yeah, I don't mind having the head baseball coach at Troy on every week. Darren, what do you say?
I mean, look, for a while, this was the thing to keep the mojo going, right? Yeah. So get something going, and then we'll have you on, and we'll keep it going.
I think that sounds like a good plan to me.
Skylar, first of all, thank you for that. Yes, we've gotten to know Skylar really well over the last few years, and I know that your team is going to miss you. I know your friends in Columbia will miss you. Gamecock fans certainly will miss you because of what you've accomplished. When you look back, and we'll get to Troy in just a minute and maybe kind of get through this process a little bit, but when you look back at the last 4 seasons in Columbia, what will you miss the most?
I mean, you're going to miss the players first and foremost. I mean, there's so many guys that you connect with on a zillion different levels, and so those guys, that's a really hard part. I mean, the coaching staff, I enjoyed being around all of our coaches. I mean, Coach Kingston has been great to us our entire time, and not just myself, but my wife, our kids, his wife too. She's been outstanding. We're around Coach Current and his family all the time. Coach Couch, I mean, he and I talk on the phone so much over our time together, just with recruiting. And then obviously, everybody knows Coach Lake. Coach Lake's been a mentor to me over the last 4 years and has always just given me wisdom, and not just Southern wisdom, real Coach Lake wisdom, because the guy's gotten to experience everything at, different levels, different positions, having been a head coach and obviously all the success he's had. He's been a tremendous asset for me to kind of help me just what I'm kind of getting my feet into now. But really, I'm going to miss that. And I'm going to miss the fans here. I mean, the fans here, I know once in a while they might get after us a little bit from time to time, but their passion is just awesome. Founders Park, holy heck. I mean, there's some games that I can still remember, just seeing the thing packed and how loud it was. And so we're all going to miss that. We're going to miss the community, where we live. We live in an awesome place. We have tons of great neighbors. So all that is going to be tough, but, it's the nature of this business. And thankfully for us, it's a positive one. And, hopefully we're always welcome to come back in South Carolina, whether we're vacationing or driving through or whatever. There's going to be plenty of people to see.
Well, if I have anything to do with it, you're always welcome back. Matter of fact, you can come back and coach pitchers anytime you want to, bud. Obviously, Skylar, it didn't end where you wanted it to end, which is in Omaha, right there where Limo and Fox and those guys were standing holding a trophy in their hands. But it was still a great year. Is it the best year ever for South Carolina baseball? Well, no, the best year ever is winning the national championship. They've done it twice. We all know that. But y'all have been working over the last couple of years to get the Gamecocks back on that one line. That line that people just got used to seeing for so long. Carolina, somebody was always going to have to go through South Carolina or not go through South Carolina to accomplish the ultimate goal of getting to Omaha and trying to win a national championship. So when you look back at that grind, what will you remember about it? You know, you had to recruit kids and you had to develop kids and things like that. I mean, all of that is involved, but I asked you what you'll miss the most. What will you remember the most about what you accomplished here?
Well, I think we certainly recruited and did develop players, really well. It may sound cliche, but if people, I think you got Danny on later. Is that right?
Yep.
Did I hear that right? Okay. When you get guys like Danny and see how they like develop and mature, and we had so many unique kids on our team that we brought into our program that got to be a part of athletics and different people from Coach Tanner down, like got to meet them, and like we just had good people in our program, and I think that starts from the top because Coach Kingston has a standard, just in how our guys go about their business, how they act, and I think they understand the standard, and I know that was set long before us, but I think he upholds that standard to the players in a way in which they know that they need to do their job in the classroom, they need to be good members of the community, and then they need to play really, really hard on the field. And so I think it was fun seeing us be able to bring those kind of guys in.
Skylar, you've pitched at Louisville. You've coached here at South Carolina, Michigan State, Eastern Illinois, Middle Tennessee State. I don't think I've missed anything. And now, of course, at Troy. When you got into coaching, did you always have the desire to become a head coach at this level specifically?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't believe how fortunate we are, at this point in my career, although it's wild to say I've done it 14 years, but, at 36 to have the opportunity to, lead a program of my own now and, one that has had success, is in a great conference, a warm weather environment. And, we also just, yesterday unveiled it at the press conference, a $10 million addition to the facility that's already a great facility. So, we're totally invested. We're all in. But, anyone I've worked for 4 awesome head coaches, from Jim Schmitz to Jim McGuire, Big Boss, and then Coach Kingston. And they all have known my goals, and they've always known that that's what I want to do at some point, but I've never been just head coach hungry where it's like that's all you think about, it's all you want to do. It just needed to be something that was right. And there really hadn't been anything that was right that had come along until this. And so it was just an opportunity you certainly could not pass. And we're excited to get into it. See, talking to you guys, this is like the first 8 minutes I've gotten to breathe in the last 48 hours. So maybe it's self-serving with me being on with you guys. I get to just have fun and just kind of talk like the good old days.
How busy has it been? So, I mean, so what's been the first day of Skylar Meade, the head coach?
Well, first off, I'll just tell you on my phone, I'm never a fan of having like unread messages. And I kept trying to see if I could get under 200 when it would get up to like 600.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
And I know that shouldn't be a priority, but when you're OCD, it's going to bother you. So it's been responding to messages. It's trying to learn the roster at Troy, like in a very, clear and concise way, the way that we want it, the way we want it done. We've obviously had functions and things we've had to do. We had our press conference yesterday. Like I said, that was, a really big deal, the way it was done. And thankfully it went as perfect as it could go. And, had to go to some dinners last night and meet a lot of people in the community. And so, yeah, it's been chaos. It's not going to slow down. I had a friend who just got a head coaching job at Utah Valley, a guy named Eddie Smith. He was at LSU last year, great guy. And he sent me probably the most perfect message. He said, "Hey, brother, I was talking to our friend Spencer, who was a head coach for a long time at Northwestern. He said he told me that it'll start to slow down soon." And then he put a bunch of dots, and he said, "in 18 months." So I understand it's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaotic. I know I told you, we actually just landed in South Carolina. And so there's a lot of things I got to do, here and kind of tie some things up. But I'll be on the road probably by Sunday. And, and be rocking and rolling, whether it's recruiting or figuring out stuff on campus or players. And it won't stop anytime soon, but it's going to be exciting. My wife's very excited. Our kids, once they realize what's going on, they'll be very excited too. So, at some point I got to do a better job probably of just kind of taking a second and actually like enjoying it. But you just, you put your feet on the ground, and you try to accomplish it all as fast as you can, but it's not really humanly possible.
600 messages. Skylar, gracious. Skylar Meade, head baseball coach at Troy University. I know you mentioned the upgrades that they have coming, about $10 million or so worth over there. But what else about that program was attractive to you to want to lead it?
Well, there were certainly things that, I went down there and played, and our team played. I coached when I was at Middle Tennessee State. We were in the Sun Belt for 1 year in 2013. And we went down there, and Troy was really good that year. They'd won 42 games. They were legit. So, I always had a positive thought of them. And then, I knew they had a lot of success historically. But, for me, I just was talking to people that are in my inner circle that I really value and trust, whether it's, Coach Lake, Coach Kingston, who, like I said earlier, he was absolutely tremendous in this process and was helpful to me, and just kind of like, giving insight and his thoughts on things, because he's experienced, a lot in his career. Coach Tanner, Coach McDonald, Coach Lamonis, and every single person's going, hey man, that's an unbelievable job if you can get that. Holy heck, that's an unbelievable. It was a repeated and common theme. And so, we have an athletic director there named Brent Jones, he was the second youngest AD in the country when he was hired 2 years ago at 38. I mean, he's hungry, he's energetic, he gets after it. And so you could feel his vision. And so there's just a lot of things in place that give you an opportunity for success. And that's what you want in the first head coaching job. So hopefully I don't screw it up.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to get you in trouble here now, but is it fair to say, because Coach Calvi is down at South Alabama and now you're going to be at Troy, two former Gamecock pitching coaches, is it fair to say that the real baseball rivalry in the state of Alabama is Troy and South Alabama?
Well, listen, they were kind of explaining to me, and I did not know. I didn't realize that Troy and South Alabama, they got some things they do with their rivalry, and I guess there's a little intensity to it. So I know Coach Calvi a little bit, and he is, first of all, he's awesome. Great coach. It seems hilarious. I was actually standing next to Monty the other day, and Calvi was, texting him and calling him and just kind of busting his chops. And I'm sure that Coach Calvi at some point will bust my chops too, and we'll get to compete against each other this upcoming year. But I mean, that's a program to look at. To look at the success he's had. It's been very consistent. That's the kind of guy. He probably won't give me all the tricks of the trade, but I'm sure he'll be a guy that I can lean on within the league to get some information, especially as a first-time head coach coming from the same place to do it.
And for folks that maybe don't realize this in the Sun Belt, let me kind of explain, especially the division that you're in now, Skylar, with Troy in the East. You got Calvi and South Alabama down there. For anybody that doesn't know anything about South Alabama, just see Gainesville Regional 2021. I mean, what Mark has done is special. Georgia Southern, and one of the most proud, I'd say, mid-major. Yeah, mid-major, if you want to call it that, baseball programs in the country. They've been to Omaha before. And then, this year at the bottom of the division is a team named Coastal Carolina. And that is very uncharacteristic of that program. But only 5 years ago, they won the national championship right up the road there from Conway. And certainly don't want to discount App State, a program that's been rebuilding over the last few years. And Georgia State. Georgia State is in Atlanta. I mean, Skylar, you travel to Atlanta left and right to see players. So, that's a program that you look at their record and you go, well, it's not going to be like that forever. My point is, you're not just going to some mid-major school in the Sun Belt. You're going into a division and into a league that is very good, has a great history, and players go to that league to play.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be good ball. I mean, is it, is it going to be the grind and the high level talent of the SEC? No, I'd be disingenuous in saying that, but there are real players. There's going to be, highly competitive weekends. You mentioned Coastal, and Coastal's an inspiration, to some people at Troy, and they're obviously a competitor, and you want to whip up on them. But what Coastal had done in their run in 2016 is a massive motivator in what Troy is doing now, in terms of believing in the vision that myself and the group that we'll have on our staff is bring to the table, what the chancellor wants to do, what the athletic director wants to do. We use them as a motivator. You mentioned other teams in that league, and there's obviously teams on the other side. It's good baseball. It's warm climate. And look, you can have four bids, maybe 5 bids in that league in a great year. And so in the end, you just want an opportunity to get to the NCAA tournament because anything can happen from there.
Well, you got to play Alabama. I didn't see Troy. I didn't see Auburn on their schedule this year, so you go ahead and get them scheduled. All right. They did have Florida State. Why don't you just replace Florida State with South Carolina? How comfortable would you be with that?
Hey, listen, I'd sign up for that. Well, the Trojans are rolling over in football this fall.
Are they? Yeah, that's right. Week 5. Oh, so you're coming back. Are you going to coach the football team too?
I'm at the kickoff. What they're going to do? I'm going to grab the T. I'm going to be the T guy. For
maybe we'll just ask Coach Tanner if he'd be kind enough to let you come on as the celebrity starter for Gamecock football in that one. I'm sure that would be something you'd want to do. Maybe not.
Hey, I tell you what, that'd be a good swan song during or to be around Gamecock fans. I would sign up for that. I know Troy people probably wouldn't be too happy, but I do love the juice in that stadium on a football Saturday. So maybe we'll see what Coach Tanner can do.
Yeah, he's got nothing else to do right now, Skylar. You should let him know that you'd like to do that. I'm sure he'll put it right there at the top of the list.
I can only imagine Coach Tanner's answer.
He, how difficult, Skylar. Again, you mentioned that Mark is known. Your aspirations of becoming a head coach. I think everybody knew that. Anybody that maybe even understands baseball a little bit probably knew, hey, this guy's going to be a head coach one day. But it doesn't mean that the conversation is any easier when you have to have it. That, hey, I'm going to leave. What was that conversation like with Coach Kingston? And I don't know if you spoke to Coach Tanner or not, but what were those conversations like?
Well, first off, you're easy for me because it's just you're saying thanks. You know what I mean? It's really a appreciation. You hate when you leave people that you like, you place that you like. But it's a hard call in one sense because it's going to be a change, but it's also an easy call in the sense that you're just calling to tell somebody who's impacted you, who you spent God knows how many hours with, like you're just telling them thank you, and I hope people felt I did a great job in the press conference yesterday. I got to kind of tell some stories and some anecdotes on people that have really impacted me. And, you try to say thank you to everybody, but it's really impossible. So when you get those moments with Coach Kingston and, the Coach Tanners of the world and, Coach Lakes and whoever it is, you just want to make sure that they know that, hey, listen, I could not be more appreciative for what you've done for me, and it's not going to be something that's forgotten.
And those are both guys who have had multiple jobs. They understand what it's like to do things for the betterment of your family. But final couple of questions here, Bud, and then we'll let you run. Not from a speculation side, but have you? It's been a whirlwind, I know, but have you had a chance to make any hires for your new staff?
There's one that will become official pretty quick. I'll just my tease is Kendall Rogers kind of put something out pretty a little preemptively, but he's got pretty good insight. Well, how about I say that? So I don't
Okay.
get in trouble. But he put a little something on this morning so people can go to the Twitter sphere to find that. But the rest of our staff, we're kind of figuring some pieces out. I think I'll have it all together probably within the week. It's one of the top priorities, obviously, because nobody's going to do this thing alone. I sure as heck wouldn't be capable of it. Maybe there's probably people who are better than me than handling all that. But we will get our staff together. It's going to be a fun staff. It's going to be, I think, an energetic staff. We're going to recruit our butts off. We're going to coach them, but it'll be, I think, a really player-centric atmosphere that we will create, and I think it'll help us win a lot of ball games.
What about you, Skylar? Will you still call the pitches and handle the entire staff?
So what the vision is, it's a great question. I can't lose my roots. My roots are two things: pitching and recruiting. So I still will have a strong grip on everything the pitchers are doing. Does that mean from time to time I might miss a pitch in a bullpen in September to run over and address something going on in the field? Well, okay, that could happen, because as a coach, I think you got to make sure you got the ability to look at every single thing. But I'm going to have my hand on the pitchers very closely. But what's going to be real exciting is delving in the other parts of the game I really like too. On the offensive side, I'm a huge fan of the base running game. We're going to play real aggressive. We're going to be tremendous dirt ball readers. We're going to have a style and hopefully a discipline offensively to be good. I love the defensive part. The fine details of the relays, some of the fundamentals, the pre-pitch stuff. It'll be great to get into all of that, and as a head coach, get to promote that to the players and the team, because as the pitching coach, that's not your responsibility. You just because you love it, you never crisscross paths, and it's not your job to be the one to addressing those things. And so I'm excited to get into all of that. But I think the volunteer that we'll hire, hopefully it works out. He'll have a pitching background and be a future superstar, the guy we're looking at. We get that done. I think he'll help me with the pitchers, and then the rest of the staff will shake itself out very soon.
Skylar, I know at some point in time here, probably I would think fairly soon, Mark will replace you as the pitching coach at South Carolina. What advice would you give that next person who walks in to handle this staff for this program, this environment that we have here at South Carolina?
I would tell them that, as hard as you think the SEC is, as hard as you think, recruiting can be at this level, it may be even a little more difficult than you prepared yourself for. But I would also say you better at some point look around when you're playing one of these SEC weekends and just take about a 5-second breath and just go, holy heck, I'm coaching in the best league in the country. And just enjoy that fact, because it doesn't last forever. We all know how things are in the SEC. It's incredibly intense, but just have some fun with it too. Because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself mad.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know we got to develop players. You got to coach them up. You got to work on their breaking balls. I wouldn't. That's not the type of stuff I would tell whoever that next person is. And Coach Kingston's going to make a tremendous hire, because guess what? South Carolina baseball is going to be good, and it's going to keep getting better and better. And hopefully it's going to be, just like it's been before, where it's not just regionals or supers. You said it earlier on in the question, referring to Omaha. Coach Kingston's going to make a great hire, and there's already pieces in place for the team to be tremendous. And I think the staff pieces that he fills in there will do those type of things.
Skylar, I know it's probably starting to settle in for you, and I'm sure over the next couple of weeks, once you finally get to spend, I don't know, maybe 24 or 48 hours in actually, just one state, it'll settle in more. But you're now a college baseball head coach, man. You're the head baseball coach at Troy University. Just out of friendship, honestly, couldn't be happier and prouder for you. for your family, your wife, and your children, everybody. I can't even imagine what it's been like over the last couple of days now that this dream has become a reality for you. So again, congratulations. We are with you even if Darren says he isn't. You never know with these Penn State guys. We're right here behind you. You're always welcome on board our program. Anything we can do to help you, we are indebted to you for the last few years of how much time you've taken out to be a part of what we do. But at the end of the day, it's about you, and we're very, very, very proud and happy for you, Skylar. Congrats, man.
Well, hey, I really appreciate it. And I always enjoy talking to you guys, as you know. And what's nice is when we are on here, it's not just like I've never felt like I'm just some guest on here just talking the only ball. Like, it's great. You guys have good questions. It's fun to become friends with you guys. So I really do mean it. If it's the last time I'm on the show, I'm going to be pretty mad. So I might not be making it every Monday anymore. I know I've shifted states, but you guys got to have me on. Heck, you should have me on every, maybe in the fall, talk a little NFL. Maybe we can review my boy Lamar Jackson, see what he's doing with the Ravens. We can break down a variety of topics.
Oh, you got it, man. We could absolutely. Well, we had Mac on a couple of weeks ago when Limo and those guys were making the run, and Mac, he's just, Limo, he's just doing it, man. We're so proud to be Bulldogs. He is. So maybe we'll have like some type of Mac language breakdown or something like that.
Language breakdown.
I mean, really? What are you doing?
Oh, dude, we get you. That's what we need. You and Tony Skull, and y'all can just come on and go back and forth about Limo and Coach McDonald, and just do impersonations all day.
Hey, I had to catch myself anytime I've talked about Mac. I want to go in and do my impression of him, but I've had to keep it straight. And I don't want to crisscross all my guys. He's a fun one to do because you know what, he's being 100% genuine with his passion about even the most mundane things. It's just unbelievable, and I love it.
By the way, does he? We're going to get him on here soon. Does he ever know that his hat's crooked?
Listen, him and Lamonis, they've been crooked since our first team meeting in 2006 when they came to Louisville and were coaching me in that first fall. I'm sitting there going, man, we got to get these guys some hats that fit a little bit better.
Maybe it's the head.
Now, 15 years later, they look the same way.
It's got to be their heads.
Well, and Tony too.
Hats. It can't be all the hats.
I know.
Must be a Citadel thing.
Yeah.
Because Tony kind of sets his up and it comes down to his eyebrows, like old school. And then Lem's is kind of awkwardly to the position to the right, and Max is a little crooked, and then he's got the bucket hat on. You don't really ever know what's going on there. The towel's always going to be hanging, but yeah, it's they're different birds, man. They're just different birds, but it's all good. It's all good. That's what makes them great.
Hey, listen, I'll coach with my hat backwards if I can have the success of those guys.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think you will one day. I think one day you're going to be right there in the thick of it, Skylar. You've been kind enough to hang tight for a long, almost 30 minutes this morning or this afternoon. We'll take it easy on you over the next couple of weeks. We know you got a lot going on. Again, just so happy. Congratulations. Thank you for everything you've done for us. And, I'm a Gamecock fan, and I'm proud to say that. So thank you for everything you've done over the last 4 years for the University of South Carolina.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And this place is always going to be special to me. I think anyone that knows me knows how genuine and the affinity I have for here. So it's going to be a sad day when we leave for good, but we will not be strangers.
We'll see you soon. I'll have Danny Lloyd come help you pack. He has nothing else to do.
Hey, listen, you just make sure Danny is keeping his whole act together. He can get off the rails pretty quick.
We'll keep him straight.
Yeah,
we got rules on this show.
Hey, Baltimore, I can't sign until maybe mid-August. I gotta move my coach to Troy. Oh, is that the case, huh? We'll see how that works. Skylar, congrats again, man. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Y'all have a great day.
There you go. Skylar Meade, former pitching coach, now at South Carolina and current head baseball coach at Troy University. I know that Raphael's been hanging on. We're going to hit a quick timeout. 20 minutes in Vegas with Raphael Esparza from mybookie.ag when we return.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road with exciting news. It's springtime and we're playing ball. Most dealerships don't have any inventory, but at Stokes Volkswagen we do. So we're playing ball on every new Volkswagen in stock. Every new Volkswagen available with zero down. Qualified buyers can sign and drive with interest-free financing for 60 months. Remember, Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road is the fastest, easiest way to sell your car and get the most money for your trade. Plus, we'll take any trade in any condition, paid off or not. Is your credit in a slump?
Strike two.
If you've got $500 down and you make at least $2,000 per month, our lenders can get you approved. So if you want to strike out, that's okay. But if you want to hit a home run and save on a new Volkswagen, come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road or StokesVW.com.
$1,666 per month per $1,000 borrowed for 60 months at 0% APR with zero down. Plus tax tag. Includes $499.50 administration fee. Subject to VCI credit approval. Expires month end.
Peace and love at Stokes VW.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mowers. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
Shrimping season's back. That means local caught shrimp. That's right, local caught shrimp back on the menu at the Dog and Duck. All three locations, Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road, now featuring once again local caught hand-breaded shrimp, plus other daily specials like the Game Day Burger every Wednesday, Rib Night on Friday, rotating taps all the time, and all the TVs you can possibly imagine for whatever you want to watch. The Dog and Duck in Bell Hall, Park West, and on Clements Ferry Road.
The JB and Goldwater Show, live, loud, and online.
I'm gonna keep on the run. I'm gonna have me some fun. If it costs me my very last dime, if I wind up broke,
12:42 Friday afternoon to Vegas we go. Welcome back. The JB and Goldwater Show, driven by Stokes of Volkswagen, StokesVW.com. One of our favorite people, Raphael Esparza, in what looks like the back of a warehouse. Are you okay?
I'm in my warehouse district right now.
Do you have some type of, are you tied to a chair? Do you have a gambling debt we don't know about? Can we help you?
No, but this is part of my setup here in New Orleans. Like I said, I had my wife is a photographer, so the place we bought, we're sharing kind of like a little warehouse we're going to build for her stuff, and then for my office. So my office is on the left side that you can't see. TVs are being hung and painting, so it's going to take a while.
How many TVs for someone who handles everything that you handle for mybookie.ag? How many TVs go in your office?
My Vegas office has 9, I think. 8 or 9. I can't remember. This one will have 6.
How big are they?
Well, that includes my TV, my computer monitors. My computer monitors are 32 inches. I have 3 of those. Then I have 2 20 inches on my desk, and then everything else is hung up. I think they're 42 inches hanging up.
I like your setup. It sounds good.
We need to start watching games with you. It's awesome. We'll fly to Vegas.
I'll come back doing something, and I'll have my wife will be in my office. So there'll be HGTV in one. I mean, Schitt's Creek on the other. I mean, it's just a complete fiasco when she takes control.
Well, at least it's not that Real Housewives crap. None of that.
She doesn't watch reality TV. I think that's why I love her every day more and more, because she's not a reality TV watcher.
Good for her. It's good. We call in my house we call that trash TV.
Yeah, because she does not. She's not a TV person. Period. So we're like totally opposite.
Till she gets hold of your office. She's not.
Well, yeah. Then she'll put on horrible stuff.
Then it's like Legoland for a 5-year-old. All right, VSI Doc Sports at VSI Doc Sports on Twitter, mybookie.ag online. 50% sign-up bonus up to your first $1,000 deposit if you've never done it. maybe you could have some fun with it starting today. The Open Championship, of course, is playing out there in England. We'll get into some of that here in a minute. We're also going to touch on the NBA Finals. And then, Mr. Esparza, we're going to start peeking ahead to college football win totals with you. Believe it or not, we're right around the corner. I know, I get it, but FIFA is over. And
you get the Gold Cup going on. You get the Olympics starts next week. I mean, it's a whole bunch of good stuff that's going on. But hey, this is for Darren. You know what I'm working on right now, Darren? That you'll probably get in this email probably in the next half hour.
I don't know if it's something about the live group or pairings that I happen to be following at the very moment. Other than that, I'm not sure.
No, I am actually working the next Chicago Cub player that will be traded before the MLB trade deadline. That's what I'm working on right now. Chicago Marquee Sports asked me to do that because I guess they want to do a whole special on it. So,
how high up on that list is Chris Bryant? Is he ever going to be moved?
He will be moved. What I'm hearing, I have Craig Kimball as the next Cub that goes. I think Houston's going to nab him really, really, really quickly. Or Boston. One of the two will probably grab him. And then I have Bryant, second favorites. Rizzo. I think Contreras could also be on that list. Baez. I don't think Baez goes. I think they're going to keep. I would not be shocked if not that many players get position players go for Chicago. I think maybe just Bryant would be the only one with Jock Peterson, and then I think Kimber. I think everyone else, I think, is going to probably stay put because position players rarely get traded during a trade deadline. I mean, you look at JT Martinez won that 1 year and got nothing for him. I mean, if you're Chicago, you probably want the world for, let's say, Chris Bryant, Rizzo, and stuff like that, which I don't think they're going to get.
So they're major sellers. What does the Cubs farm system look like? What does their organization look like? Not good. Huh? Well, I mean, they traded. I mean, obviously Peterson to Atlanta for Bryce Ball, first baseman in the Braves organization, who's, he
strikes out too much.
Yeah.
But if you're becoming a seller, that's the only goal here. Sell off your pieces and rebuild the farm and have guys for the future.
Yeah, people think that's why they think Rizzo's going, but if you look at Ball, he's not a Chicago what they're looking for. I mean, the last time first baseman had a strikeout all the time was Leon Durham. Mark Grace didn't strike out as much. He was always a contact hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Rizzo always a contact hitter. So he doesn't fit what the Chicago players look for, especially as a first baseman.
Well, I tell you what, if Kimbrel is moved, which would be back to Boston, that'd be something, because the Sox right now are a game and a half up on Tampa, and I've been personally, although I'd like to see Boston maybe win the division, I've got my doubts. I just think that on the mound Tampa's better, but not if they get Kimbrel. That could be huge. I mean, that might propel the Red Sox right deep into the postseason.
Yeah, and I like what Atlanta did getting Jock Peterson. If it doesn't work out or whatever, you still have 2 weeks. They can trade him again. I mean, for better players, or try to boost up. If let's say they tank and they just can't catch the Mets and stuff like that, and maybe they're not buyers, they might be a little bit sellers. They can still trade Jock Peterson. The way he hits for a left-hander, they could probably get a lot more than what they traded for.
Good point.
Obviously, the Braves have had a ton of injuries this year, Raphael, but what's been more disappointing in your opinion, the Braves or the Yankees?
Oh, it's 110% the Yankees, period.
Yeah.
Plain old period. I mean, people want to say, isn't they know I'm a Cub fan? Oh, are you disappointed with the Cubs? No, being in third place and having almost a better record than the Cardinals, it's a World Series win for me. So I'm okay with that. But, yeah, that has to be the Yankees. 46 and 43, and the 8 games out of first, COVID's in the locker room. I mean, it's devastating for the Yankees. They were 100+ season total win team, and they're not even going to come close to that. I mean, they could be battling with the Orioles maybe towards the end of the season.
Well, that's one of the most disappointing things in baseball right now. The Yankees.
Well, I don't think they'll be battling with the Orioles. They're 26 games.
I wanted to give Baltimore some love.
Yeah. We have a 14th round selection of the Orioles coming up right after you, Daniel Lloyd. But yeah, with New York being 8 games, it's kind of strange because. And I do want to get to golf real quick, but the Yankees, I don't want to say they're not good. I mean, they are 3 games above 500, but they're not certainly what anybody thought they would be. And the Red Sox are probably 30 games above where people thought they'd be.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be Tampa, Toronto battling for that division. I didn't think the Yankees were going to be that good. I didn't understand why people thought they were going to be 100-plus team. So I'm not that shocked. I'm just shocked more that they only had 46 wins by the All-Star break. I think that one's more shocking. But I thought it was going to be Toronto and Tampa battling.
Well, battling over in Kent, England at Royal St. George's Golf Club is Colin Morikawa and Jordan Spieth, an American tie on top of the leaderboard. Both sit at 9 under. Spieth 4 under through 13 today as he just joined Morikawa up there at that 9 under number. Morikawa is in the clubhouse with a 64, and he's at 9 under. Louis Oosthuizen lurking. He's 2 under today through 11. He's at 8 under par as well. You've got the live odds up right now over at mybookie.ag. What do those look like?
Yeah, I know the Open's going on, but for all the golf tournaments, people are like, oh, you're busy with the Open is probably the least bet of the majors because of the time difference, the TV times. Some of these matchups don't end until weird hours. So I'm kind of glad that the Open is where it's at right now because I don't have to really worry about massive bets coming in just because it's the time difference Open. So I'm kind of happy so I can kind of get a little bit of a break from another sport that's going on. But we'll get more action on Saturday when we find out who's the top 10 and stuff like that when we put the futures back up. But right now, last night was probably one of the slower golf actions I've seen in a very, very long time. More money was probably coming in on the USA soccer match than some of the golf that was over on the Open.
Well, for I just mentioned the top of the leaderboard, but for those who maybe haven't looked a little bit past that, here he is again. There's Brooks Koepka. He's 4 under today. He's 5 under for the tournament. I mean,
he's not yelling at his golf clubs.
Yeah, upsetting his sponsors and yelling at his golf clubs. Yeah, no, he's done that.
Have y'all ever seen that before? I don't think I've ever seen that before, ever in professional sports, where an athlete criticizes their equipment and then the rep for the equipment comes right back out and says, "You're an idiot," basically.
Well, they're giving him, I don't know the contract details, but I'd imagine somewhere in the high hundreds of thousands, if not more. So he shouldn't be criticizing their equipment publicly.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing is, I don't want to say a big wager, but I bet non-U.S. player to win the British Open. So I need these 2 Americans to fade a little. If you look past the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, it's all international. So I'm hoping Morikawa and Spieth. I think if Morikawa wins, I should still cash my non-USA bet just because of the last name itself.
I tell you what, too, keep an eye on DJ today because he's 4 under, 2 under. And he's made the turn. He's 2 under today, but he birdied 5, 7, and 8. He got hot there at the end of that front 9, and let's see what happens. He's only 5 shots back. If Dustin Johnson drops 2 or 3 birdies in before the afternoon's over, hello, boys and girls. He's in contention into the weekend. By the way, how about this tweet? You ready for this? Brooks Koepka just completed his round and speaking with Todd Lewis from the Golf Channel. Quote, "I love my driver."
I'm shocked. No, I mean, I'm stunned that Koepka would take a direct shot. I mean, that's shocking.
I don't know what's more shocking, that or how bad Tommy Fleetwood played today. I mean, those are equal up there.
Mm-hmm. Where is DeChambeau? I don't even see him on the leaderboard.
He's at plus 3 for his day. He's 3 over on the 14th.
So he'll be on my couch watching USA Canada on Sunday in Gold Cup.
You know, are y'all surprised by the fact that the cut line right now at the Open is just 1 over?
No,
I saw that this afternoon, and I'm like, wow! So I thought for sure it'd be +2 today when I looked at it. So +1 is but if you look on the list, there's a lot of big names that are in the bottom of that cut. I
mean, the weather is perfect. The course is hardening up. You're able to get more distance on a shorter course. I mean, it's not surprising guys are able to take advantage of this. And I mean, it wouldn't shock me if that bumps down a little bit.
That would be even par.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah. The guys on the course now are all low. No, I don't think so.
No, he's always +13, +12. Something like that.
Come on, man. He's only 12 over, not 13.
I thought he
doesn't think about this span that he's had. He comes down here to Kiowa in a beautiful time of the year here in the Low Country. He wins it, PGA Championship. Plays out there on the coast of California, and who gives a crap how he played? He was on the coast of California. Played in Big Sky, Montana. Cares how he played. He played in Big Sky, Montana, and now he's over here playing. He didn't really, dude. He won the PGA Championship. He's just in it for the scenery now. Who cares how he plays?
I agree, but
I wouldn't care.
It's still embarrassing to shoot a plus 12, plus 13, whatever he is in a major.
Bad.
I mean, you should be downgraded like English Premier League does. You should be regulated to the senior tour for what he shoots in a major.
That was bad. Yeah, there's no doubt. 12 over par that's come on, man. Yeah. All right. So next time we talk to you will be next Friday, and that they'll have played, I think, Game 5 of the NBA Finals by then. They should have this thing wrapped up by sometime in October, because the NBA plays year-round, for any of you who didn't realize that. But no, I'm just kidding. But they do need, remember, Raphael, 48, 72 hours off between games. They got to refresh their legs. It's hard. LeBron James made this happen. The Bucks and the Suns will play tomorrow, and the Suns are 4-point favorites at home. Does Chris Middleton score 80 tomorrow night?
No, because on the road. I mean, I have to say, the NBA Finals drags off, but I think this year they're probably happy it's dragging because some of the ratings have come through have been impressive with no really big name. I mean, I know the Greek Freak's back-to-back MVPs, but he's not a LeBron, he's not a KD, he's not those names that we've seen and wanted to see in the finals. So the NBA is probably thrilled that it keeps on going. We're going to see Game 7. I think the home court holds Games 5 and Game 6, and we all know Game 7 doesn't really matter who has home court in any league, baseball, hockey, NBA, and stuff like that. I think this one goes to 7 games, unless for some reason Chris Paul plays a horrible game like he did in Game 4. Then I think the Bucks can win this in Game 6. But I think it's going to hold. I think we're going to see Game 7 October 1st, 2021, and then after that we'll probably have a Hawaii versus San Jose State football game after the NBA Finals.
I mean, has the NBA never looked at their schedule and thought, we only play 82 of these in the regular season, or 81, whatever it is, and then the playoffs take some time. We could probably maybe shorten the season by, I don't know, a month.
Yeah, but they're taking the playbook out of your beloved football. Hey, let's have the NFL draft for 7 days. Let's show TV of college practices or offense versus defense. Or no. If you're gonna make fun of the NBA Finals, you have to make fun of your beloved football. That's on 365 days a year.
True. I will give the football guys credit though. At least they only fall when they get hit. The NBA guys, they just fall over. It's like soccer.
Hey, see, you make fun of soccer and you lose your stream. See, that's what happens when you make fun of soccer. Your computer screen just gets flopped.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we'll hold off on the over-under win totals for you. What else you want to throw in there? The UFC, you want to throw in the Gold Cup? The floor is yours, my friend. Take it.
Sunday, Canada's soccer has emerged. Both men and women have really good soccer teams now. Keep an eye out for that match on Sunday with USA and Canada in the Gold Cup, even though both of them advance to the next round. But that could be very interesting for seedings and who wants to play Mexico first on that match. So that's going to be very interesting. And then the Olympics. USA women's soccer, let's face it, we all love to watch U.S. women play soccer because they're just dominating. And they have to play Denmark in their first game. That's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's probably the only time they're only going to be at -0.5, maybe -160, because everyone else are going to be -2 or 3 goals. I guess maybe against Brazil or other teams. So it's going to be very interesting. And then who doesn't love handball? And I'll be doing table tennis odds for the Olympics today.
Will the men win? Will the U.S. men win the gold?
Are they going to have a team? Kevin Love drops out. I feel bad for Bradley Beal, who really, really, really wanted to do this, but was excited to play in the Olympics, and now he can't. So I would not be shocked if they don't. Would not be totally blown away. I think there's a better shot at Damian Lillard coming to the Pelicans than maybe the USA maybe not winning the gold.
Okay. USA right now is a half-goal favorite over Sweden coming up in 5 days, right? Yep.
Yes.
Half-goal favorite? Yeah, over under 2.5. Oh, it's over.
Hard to get those half goals.
Yeah, it is. Well, I've seen it happen before.
Just like in hockey.
Over under at 2.5. Give me over. It's over. It's 3.
Both really two goalies, so I don't know about picking the over.
2 to 1. 2 to 1 is the fine. It's game 1, Raphael. Things happen.
That's true. Very true. USA men scored 5 goals yesterday. So, yeah.
If you'd like to bet on any country in the Olympics, you can head to mybookie.ag. You can't bet on the U.S. men's soccer team. They don't make the Olympics.
No.
Or the World Cup, or
you can't bet will Rachel Nichols have a job next year in the NBA, or Stephen A. Smith. I mean, I put those odds out yesterday, and I got a lot of social media flack for that. Come on, people,
dude,
have some laughter in life.
Absolutely. By the way, what Stephen A. Smith said and what Rachel Nichols said, like, I don't really care. I don't get into that crap, but I haven't heard a word about Stephen A. Smith.
Nope,
you haven't.
Not in the last couple
like
days.
Rachel Nichols, no.
Oh, not like Rachel Nichols. Not even close.
God, that thing was all over the place. Yeah, they both got there was feedback and pushback hard on both.
Did they pull him off the air?
No, and they didn't really pull her off either because she was back on in a day.
Yeah, but they canceled her for one day, right? Did they pull him off for a day? For a minute?
They didn't cancel her.
They did. That's not true. They canceled the show that day for her.
It wasn't a cancellation. It was a move, obviously predicated by what she had said. Sure, but Stephen A. Smith then had people on his show blasting him and the show. It was a pretty even thing.
I would say Stephen A. Smith his was only 24 hours ridicule. I thought Rachel Nichols was at least 2, 3, 4 days of ridicule. I thought what Jeff Passan said on the show with Stephen A. Smith was just nothing but brilliancy. If you didn't see what he said, it was just nothing but brilliancy. And I give hats off to Jeff Passan.
He's really good. Jeff Passan's really good.
Yeah,
at covering.
Well said to him. Hats off.
Well said to you always, my friend. We love seeing you.
I'm glad you guys worked this weekend. I mean, you guys take 2 months off? You guys look all tan and rested, so I'm glad. Babies will be coming aboard in 9 months. You guys will take more time off. So, yeah, congratulations.
If there's babies coming aboard in our house in 9 months, my wife and I are going to have a serious conversation. We will all the Olympics betting that you could possibly dream of is available at mybookie.ag and much more, and we'll let you run on that note. Enjoy Nolans, my friend. I'm sure you're gonna eat till you can't eat anymore down there. Be careful though
until it's 105 or less, because it's been when I flew out it was 114, so I ain't going back until
what.
Yeah, so 105 or less is when I go back there. Oof.
Yeah, because the real Death Valley is like 130.
I've been there twice,
really?
Death Valley, and it is so hot. You'll automatically see people walking around the streets topless. It doesn't matter in Death Valley because it's so hot there.
Dude, not for me. This is hot enough right here in the low country. Raphael, thanks, buddy. See you later. Raphael Esparza with mybookie.ag. All right, it is 1:00, and it is time for our final timeout of the work week. When we return, Daniel Lloyd, a 14th round draft pick by the Baltimore Orioles, formerly now of the South Carolina Gamecocks, and also formerly coached by Skylar Meade, who we spoke to at the top of hour number 1. He'll join us. We'll talk about his journey to get to South Carolina and now maybe to get to Camden Yards right here on the JB and Goldwater Show, driven by Stokes Volkswagen.
Mike Morgan here for Gamecock Traditions. Baseball is going strong. You'll want to look sharp when you cheer on your Gamecocks. Under Armour, New Era, sideline hats, all with interlocking SC Baseball logo. 18 styles of $10 tees exclusively at Gamecock Traditions. Get on that email list by going to the bottom of the page, enter your email, and always be the first to know about new items as they arrive. You can also add a little Gamecock flair with house signs, garden flags, interior and yard decorations, only at one place, Gamecock Traditions.
At Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum, families walk in the footsteps of our nation's heroes, the brave ones who risked their lives to defend our way of life. Home to the aircraft carrier USS Yorktown, USS Laffey, and the USS Clamagore, there's more than 1 million square feet of exhibit space to roam. White Glove certified, we have several new health safety measures in place to enhance the visitor experience. Come for the day and leave feeling inspired. One of the most impressive museums in the country, located right here in Mount Pleasant. Visit patriotspoint.org for more. We'll see you soon.
Bourbon and whiskey drinkers of Charleston, Paddock and Whiskey on James Island and the Terrace Shopping Center on Maybank is your home for the finest and rarest bourbon and whiskey drinks in the Lowcountry. This is where I hang out. Go meet my friends Reed and Chris and try one of their exclusive barrel pick bourbons. They have the largest private barrel collection in the state, and let their knowledgeable staff recommend your next pour. PaddockandWhiskey.com. Let not your heart be troubled. Paddock and Whiskey is here for your next double. We're all friends around here. Paddock and Whiskey, proud partners of the JB and Goldwater Show.
This is Scott Glaze, head golf professional at the Links at Stono Ferry, located on the outskirts of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm inviting you to tee it up on one of the most scenic and challenging courses in the Lowcountry. Our back nine is highlighted with 3 holes that border the Intercoastal Waterway. Visit StonoFerryGolf.com to book tee times and discover all that Stono Ferry has to offer. The Links at Stono Ferry is a former South Carolina Golf Course of the Year and is also home to the College of Charleston men's and women's golf teams. Come see us. We would love to have you. StonoFerryGolf.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Half, Public Information Officer at the Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum. We're home of the mighty USS Yorktown, USS Laffey, Flamagore, and Vietnam experience. And we're a proud partner of the JB and Goldwater Show. We invite you and your family to come see us and enjoy a day on Charleston Harbor. Visit patriotspoint.org for more information. And now, it is my honor to present the National Anthem.
Live, loud, and online.
Well, we've made it, Darren. Welcome back. Finally, the JB and Goldwater Show's final hour of the work week, driven by Stokes Volkswagen, StokesVW.com. Make sure you follow us across all social media platforms at JB and Goldwater, individually at Sports Media JB and at Darren Goldwater. Thanks to Raphael Esparza in that last segment. We said he was in Vegas. We were wrong, of course, because he had flown to Nolens, New Orleans. For those who've never been there, it's Nolens when you're there. And then thanks to Skylar Meade in the top of the first hour, the new Troy head baseball coach. But if you're watching the show, he coached this guy. If you're not watching, you can't see him, but you could envision what Daniel Lloyd looks like. He's much taller than both of his mom and his father, who are great people, by the way. But Daniel Lloyd, kind enough to join us today. He's recently a 14th round draft pick of the Baltimore Orioles. Hopefully one day will be standing in the middle of Camden Yards throwing a pitch or two, just like he has over the last 4 seasons, standing in the middle of Founders Park for the Gamecocks. First of all, my friend, how are you doing since hearing your name called in the 2021 Major League Baseball draft?
I'm doing good. It's surreal, honestly. It's just a dream come true, honestly.
So I'll just go ahead and for those some folks out there will probably hear Daniel and I talk like we've known each other for a while. We have. I hadn't seen him in a long time, but the first time I met this dude, he was way shorter than I am, and I'm not very tall, and now he is way bigger than I am. I just want to tell you that since you were a little kid to where you are now and what you've accomplished, it's a tremendous achievement, and we've got some photos up of you there on the screen. When you see all those, man, you look back, Isle of Palms Rec Department, I think that's the Bulldogs, your travel team, and then Hanahan. Of course, you played at Somerville, and then you see that one there on the left in the Gamecock uniform. How do you process all that, seeing just all those stages of your career?
First of all, thank God for puberty. I mean, look how skinny, look how skinny I was. But I mean, it's something I've been this is something I've been working for since I was 3 years old, since I was that one picture. So I mean, it's just crazy to think about. Just hard to put into words right now.
So when did you let's go back. We're going to get to your parents in a little bit. We're going to talk about Skylar and your time at Carolina, but as you started to grow, Daniel, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there, when did you start maybe thinking, hey, college baseball might be on the table for me?
Let's see. I mean, honestly, I didn't even think about it really. I mean, obviously, my dream was going to the Citadel to play shortstop. So that's to tell you something. I mean, my dream was going to the Citadel to play shortstop. So I played infield, never really pitched. And then sophomore year, Banks Faulkner from Somerville threw me. I was basically touching the ground sidearm. I threw one inning, but I was throwing hard. And then that summer, I moved up to like 3-4 slots, and I hit like 88, 89. I was like, I probably should stick at this. And, I was throwing hard across. I was at third base and shortstop, and I was throwing it hard across the infield. So it was just. And it just kept on going and throwing harder, and it just happened. So,
who can you walk us through your recruitment? Who was your first offer, and when did you come into contact with South Carolina? What was that conversation like?
Yeah, so my first offer was South Carolina. I was with Holbrook and them, and. So it was Clemson and Carolina for me. It was either one of those two schools. Those are my two schools I wanted to go to. So I went to Carolina, got offered, and then I went to Clemson the next day, and they didn't offer, but wanted me to wait for these things called Palmetto games that we had here in South Carolina.
Yep.
And I kind of just didn't feel like waiting. I was like, I'm good. So, and then, committed to Carolina, and then the new coaching happened, and kind of just waited to see what happened there. And then Kingston kind of just brought me in. He fought for me, and Clemson didn't really. So I was just like, I want to go to Carolina.
What's interesting about all this, I guess I could say this, I'm going to say it anyways, is you come from a big Clemson family.
Yeah.
And when I see your mom, Michelle, I tell her all the time, she knows this. She looks way better in garnet and black than she does in that ugly orange and purple.
Yeah.
What was that like for your parents? I mean, I know, I'm a big Gamecock fan. I think if my child came up to me and said, I'm gonna go play whatever sport at Clemson, there'd probably be a piece of me that was like, oh no. Yeah. But what were those conversations like for y'all?
I mean, it's kind of just, not like they were saying, no, you can't go there. It was just kind of like, it's your decision. Like, you're a grown man now. Like, it's your decision to make. Obviously they probably did want me to go to Clemson, but now that I look back on it, they're probably like, no, I'm glad he made this decision. So.
Absolutely. And so, when you look back at your career, and again, we'll get more into some of the things that happened in college, and then we'll look to head to pro ball and stuff like that. And I do want to get your thoughts on Skylar. I know you're happy for him, but when you look back on your career, the guys that you've played for, Johnny Cribb, I consider a name. I'll let you name them if you want to, but when you look back at the impact that those coaches had, what type of impact did they have? What did they mean to you? What did they teach you?
We can start with Johnny Cribb. Coach Cribb taught me honestly everything. Not really like I want to say everything, but it was just, I guess that's where it started. Every coach has had a piece of something in that where it got me to where I am today. But it's just been a crazy ride, and I can't thank all these coaches enough, honestly.
Yeah, Banks and
Brian Mitchell,
yeah.
Yep.
They're and Danny, they're all a little different,
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. It's amazing. They're all those three guys. I know them, and they coach a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Johnny. You know how Johnny is.
Yeah.
If you get on his bad side for a day, that's the last time you'll be there.
Yeah.
But then Brian, he'll put his arm around you a little bit more. But and Banks has his way of doing things. But doesn't that in a way, like it kind of teaches you, like that's a part of life. Like everybody has a little bit of a different way of doing things, but you could always, the end result could be the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for them. So I mean,
what about your parents? What about dad and mom and Drew, your brother, who's really
He's
tall?
bigger than me now, so
I can't believe how tall he is, dude.
It's unbelievable. But
that's ridiculous.
My parents, I mean, I can't even put into words how grateful I am for them. I mean, from travel ball to everywhere, everything I've been doing is just the time they put in for me is just unbelievably it's unbelievable. So I'm not here without them. So I'm not here.
When's the last time they missed a game that I don't even want to say played in, and missed a game of the team that you were on?
Yeah,
they go to every Carolina game.
I can tell you that one.
They travel everywhere.
I mean, every time they knew that I was able to pitch, they were there. So,
and that's been since day one. Rec ball. I mean, 20 years worth of this.
Absolutely. And Dad's got nothing better to do, so he's just he can't sit still, so he just got to come to the game.
What have we'll get to the draft stuff here in a second, but like over the last 4 or 5 years, all the kids that you grew up with and played with, do you keep in touch with them? Have they followed your career? What are your relationships like with all of those guys?
Yeah, absolutely. I keep in touch with all my past teammates, basically. They all sent me a text, called me when it happened. Like I haven't talked to some guys in probably 5-6 years, and they're calling me and telling me how proud they are. I mean, it just means a lot, honestly. It's crazy. It really is.
So, Danny, at South Carolina, you know what the expectations are in Columbia. They've set those a long time ago, and that's just what it is. And in your time there have been ups and downs. Take us through that process as a pitcher for the Gamecocks with the expectations that you knew that were on your shoulders every day.
Yeah. I mean, so we can go back to like my freshman year. I mean, freshman year obviously wasn't a very good year, but there's just so many things that you take out of it. And it's just like, you think about now of where I'm at. It's just like, wow, like freshman year got me to where I'm at now. I mean, I had to overcome so many things, and I'm starting Friday nights as a freshman, and there's no one behind me because we're hurt. So, I mean, and then I go to Savannah Bananas, and I go there and get a new pitch, and then I just redevelop myself. So, I mean, it's just sophomore year. Obviously, COVID happens, but, I mean, I think I was going to pitch really good, obviously. I was throwing good. I was the closer is what you could call me, I guess. And then last year, I mean, I thought it was one of the best years we've ever had. I think we definitely could have made a run. Obviously, it didn't happen, but, I mean, things happen. But, I mean, everything happened for a reason. So, I mean, can't complain.
What was it like playing for the Bananas? I didn't realize you played for them. And if anyone doesn't know what the Savannah Bananas are about, they're baseball. But
you got to look it up.
Fun, like a whole other stratosphere. What was it like playing for?
It was perfect for me, honestly. I got there and I was like, what did Coach Meade send me to? I was like, what is this? But like when I got there for a week, started doing some things, and like it was just got me out of my comfort shell and got me to like to do things I wouldn't be normally okay doing. And it was just one of those things that just happened, and it was really fun. So
instead of me asking you what it was like to play for Skylar, I'm gonna ask it a different way, and I think this will suffice as the answer of the original question. Why, in your opinion, is Skylar Meade now a head coach?
I mean, he's one of those guys that, and he's just, that's a hard question, I guess, but like he just gets it. I mean, as a player, you want to play for him. He's always out there and teaching you something, and just having fun with the guys. And I mean, that's what players nowadays love. I mean, you want to be able to trust your coach, want to be able to pitch for your coach. I mean, he's just one of the best, and he's so young, obviously, and he just gets it. And I mean, I love him. So
what did he teach you?
Well, my first time going there, when I got to Carolina, he didn't even let me throw for about 3 weeks. So he was like, we got something to fix, and wouldn't let me throw. He uses me as examples to guys all the time. So he didn't even let me throw, but he's just taught me how to like, just trust me, like trust my stuff, trust myself, trust my defense, and like, know that I'll get these guys out with the stuff I have. I mean, that was the biggest thing, is kind of my mental game. And I think I have one of the strongest mental games I have right now. So, I mean, yeah, it's not all about like mechanics and stuff like that. Like, you got your teammates for that too. So it was kind of just more mental for me, and me just was like, listen, like you're the guy, you can do this. So
what do you think that will do for you in the future? I mean, what was it? How about this? Let me say it this way. What's it like pitching in the SEC, Danny?
It's hard, I'll tell you that. But I mean, it's fun, I guess. I mean, it's like you soak that all in. When you go to Mississippi State and Duty Noble, it's like you're pitching in front of 13,000 people. It's just, you soak it in. It's just, it gets you better. I mean, it's getting you ready for what I'm about to be doing now.
That's where I was going with this. I mean, you know, Darren and I talk a lot of baseball around here. I think you probably know that. And Darren and I have also talked before about how there are some professional levels of the sport of baseball that aren't as good as the SEC. I mean, you could
exactly.
I've talked to Mike Sisko about this. You could make a real argument, Daniel, that when you get to AA,
absolutely,
that's the SEC. But below that, so you talked about it from a mental standpoint. What Skylar has taught you and helped you develop there to be tough mentally. How do you think that'll translate in pro ball?
I mean, I think it's going to translate pretty well with me. I mean, like you were just saying, like you could make an argument that SEC is the same thing as AA. So I mean, I'm going into it just, I'm better than you guys, and I mean, that's what I've been thinking now, and it's been helping me out. Like last, I guess, month and a half, 2 months, I've been throwing really well. So I mean, just go into it, and I mean, exactly. I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying there, because you got in professional baseball, once you get to the big leagues, as you know, it doesn't matter if the guy in the 8 holes hitting 220.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That doesn't matter. They're pro hitters. I mean, everything's a grind.
Same thing with SEC though. I mean, it's just like,
that's right.
Their 9 hole could be their best hitter, honestly. I mean, he could be hitting 200 and it's still, you throw a bad pitch to him, he's going to hit it. So, I mean,
yeah, like the kid at Vanderbilt. What the hell is that guy doing hitting 30? He was hitting like 340 or
exactly.
30.
I mean, it's just everyone's good nowadays. So, I mean,
what about the fans at South Carolina? What do you say to the fans? You've been around them for 4 or 5 years.
I mean, so freshman year, obviously, it was a little bit rough. I mean, it should have been. I mean, that's not the expectations for South Carolina baseball. So, but this year, I mean, it was unbelievable. It was crazy. We enjoyed the fans so much. We fed off them, and it was just, they had our back. Obviously, I mean, things aren't going to go perfect every time. I mean, that's not how baseball goes. But, I mean, it was one of my most enjoyable years here. So,
when at the regional, for instance, game 1, you close it out.
Yeah.
Place erupts. What was going through your head?
I was just going crazy. I mean, I was so hype. I mean, Burgess has just caught a heck of a game back there, and I was just like, let's go. I wanted to go to Omaha. Obviously, everyone wants to go to Omaha, but I was like, we just won the first game. Like, we're looking pretty good right now. So I was just really hype. And then you got game 2. I mean, that was also at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and you have, we probably had 9,000 people there, and game 1 at 12 o'clock. I was like, I'll take it. Then you got game 2 at 7 o'clock, and there was a lot of people there, a lot of people. And it was just, that's the stuff you soak in. Obviously, we didn't win, but it was a really good game.
Where's South Carolina baseball headed? Is the program in the right track?
I think it is. I mean, obviously, there's some stuff going on right now, but I think Coach Kingston's going to get really good pitching coach, and really good hitting coach. So I mean, I think it's fine. We still got guys coming back, big time leaders that are coming back too, that can really lead this program.
So let's go to draft day. What were you doing when the even backing up to day one of the draft, the first round? Walk us through that. You know, what were you doing? What were you thinking? What type of conversations were you having with your family? Describe it.
Yeah, so I mean, day one, obviously, I knew it wasn't getting my name called. So I was just chilling, watching, and seeing like my past teammates. Like again, like keep in touch with my past teammates who got drafted there in the first round. I think I had like one or two maybe from like the Canes. And then day two rolls around, and I knew I had a chance to go in like that 8 through 10 area if they wanted to. So I was kind of just chilling just with my parents, and then didn't roll around. So I mean, I was kind of like, okay, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, and then I was a win-win situation. I was either coming back to Carolina or I was getting drafted. So I mean, it wasn't that like I was mad about it. So day two rolls around, didn't get drafted, but I was like, all right, I'm going to blow some teeth off. So I went golfing with my buddies.
Where'd you play?
Pine Forest Country Club.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I live in Pine Forest. So we went there, and then day three rolls around. Day two rolls around, I'm golfing. I'm getting a lot of calls about like teams and stuff like that. Asking them if I'll take their money in day three, and I'm like, yeah. So I get a call in about the 12th round from my agent, and he's like, Baltimore Orioles, 13th round. All right. Well, they don't pick me in the 13th round. And he calls me back. He goes, 14th round. They made a mistake. So, I mean, it was just like, it was just a crazy day. It's just like, I still like haven't put it in like my head that I'm a professional baseball player. It's weird.
Have you officially signed?
Not yet. I should be signing next week.
Okay. And are they going to fly you to Baltimore, or are you going? Where are you
I
going?
have no idea yet.
I didn't know if they would fly you up there to actually sign, or
maybe. I have no idea.
And so there's no plans just yet as to where you might start or how that's all going to work out.
No.
Okay. Well, you can just keep playing golf around here.
Exactly.
I know a guy who got drafted years ago and said, "No problem, I'll sign, but I'm not leaving till this date." You think that'll work?
Hey.
He was a first rounder.
Yeah.
You want to try that one? Let's see what they say.
I'm good on
that one. So what are you doing right now? You know, what is your daily routine like? You're going to be pitching soon.
Yeah.
Professionally. So what are you doing to stay in shape?
Yeah. I mean, I took like a week off because I didn't stop throwing. I went up to Cape for a little while before the draft, so I didn't stop throwing. So I took like a week off. I'm probably going to throw today after I get off this, actually. And then, I mean, just getting back at it. I'm moving out of the house in Columbia right now. So just.
What does that feel like, man? I remember when I moved out of college.
Yeah,
you're not going back. It's over.
And it's not like I graduated yet. It's just like I'm going to play professional baseball. Like it's weird. But I mean, I don't know.
It's a cooler way to go.
Oh, absolutely.
When I packed up in Penn State and moved down here 20-some years ago, like I was moving down for a job. I wasn't moving to go play professional baseball.
Yeah, it's I'll take it all day. So
what have the last, I'd say, few days, last week or so, what's that been like just with your friends? You develop so many relationships at any school out there, but obviously at South Carolina, I mean, I'm sure you've spent a decent amount of time in 5 Points, I would think, over the especially last couple of days. You're not going to get to do that much anymore either. So, so what's it been like for you, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's been just a ride, honestly. Just enjoying it with the people that I love the most, the people that have gotten me here, and celebrating with them. I mean, obviously I deserve it, but they deserve some credit too. So I mean, it's just enjoying it with them, and just having fun.
Have you, since you've been playing at Carolina, you often, every Gamecock baseball program gets this opportunity to spend time around players who have preceded you, have come through the program.
Yeah.
Have you spent time? Who have you spent time around that has played there before Daniel Lloyd, and who has maybe had an impact on you?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Reed Morgan Me and him we still talk close a lot. So I talked to him after day 2 because he was a 13th round guy and had the opportunity to come back. So I just wanted to give him I wanted to see where he was at on it and what he thought. So, I mean, he gave me really good advice and stuff like that. So, I mean, I talked to him. I still talk to Graham Lawson about stuff. Me and Graham have been close. He used to live right down the street from where I live right now. So, I mean, I just try to keep up with everyone and ask advice. I'm obviously a youngin', so the older guys help out a lot.
Well, see, that's going to be your job. You realize that, right? You know it's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to get the calls over the next few years of how did you do this and do that and this, that, and the other. And you'll feel
happy to do it.
You'll feel like a seasoned vet.
Exactly.
What about Coach Kingston? You know, what have those conversations been like and what will you miss about him?
Me and King, I mean, I enjoy King. I mean, I think he's one of the best coaches. I really do think that. And I honestly wouldn't be at Carolina if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't be getting drafted right now if it wasn't for him. Obviously, he wasn't a pitching coach or anything, but I mean, he fought for me to come to Carolina 3 years ago. And I mean, I texted him earlier today and I was just like, I appreciate you really much. You really done a lot for me. So, I mean, I think King knows that and I really appreciate him. So.
What about Skylar? What do you? I already asked you about why will he be successful as a head coach, but how do you describe Skylar now as not just your pitching coach, but as your friend?
First of all, Skylar thinks he's as old as me on the field.
That's true. He looks younger than you. You know.
I mean, it's just one of those you can call him whenever you need to. He's up at 3 o'clock at night, and then he's up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, it's just, you can call whenever you need to. It's just, he's there for you. And that's one of the biggest things that players need. And I mean, he just gets it. I mean, he's one of those guys.
Yeah. He still looks like a baby. I mean, I don't understand how he does it.
He probably said something bad about me too on here. So
no, not Skylar. Skylar. Gosh, correct me when I'm wrong here, Darren, but he toes the line pretty good, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard Skylar say.
No,
anything.
he's never quite crossed that line.
I've tried to get him to.
Yeah, no, he can tightrope it well.
He's savvy. You know, he's pretty savvy. Look, we're gonna let you run here in just a second, but again, personally, I go back about, I'd say 10 years or so for as long as I've known you. And it's God, if it's flown by for me, I can't imagine what it's done for you and for your family. So, final few words on just describing this last decade, from high school baseball until where you are now and where you're going, Daniel, to put it in your words, what's the ride been like?
Let's see. I mean, it's been one heck of a ride. I'll tell you that. There's so many ups and downs and so many things that were just so enjoyable throughout the years. Winning state championship, right when I moved to Somerville. I mean, that's just, you just can't put in the words of things that happen like that. I mean, I would have never thought I'd been at South Carolina. You could have never convinced me that. So, I mean, it's just been fun. I mean, I just try to enjoy it every time I go out on the field. And that's what you got to do. You never know when it's going to be your last time playing. So, I mean, I just try to enjoy it every time I go out on the field.
You never thought you would have been at South Carolina, but do you think you'll put on an Orioles jersey one day?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to do everything in my power to put it on an Orioles jersey. So,
well, obviously, we wish you the best of luck. Very, very, very proud of you. Can't thank you enough for popping on today. Now that I don't have to go through Kent Reichert or anybody else up there to get you in. For those that are watching, that is right there a decent snapshot of the career of Daniel Lloyd from the Isle of Palms to Hanahan. There's not a Somerville photo in there, but we'll grab one and plug it in on Monday or something. And then the one on the left there, certainly from the University of South Carolina. I know how proud your family is of you. I got to actually spend a little bit of time with your cousin and your aunt, and your grandma, who called. By the way, when I used to work for ESPN, she called into my show one day.
Oh, I bet.
Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
She did. She called in because we were talking about your cousin. He had just committed, I think, to Syracuse.
Yeah.
To play football. And she called in, and we sat there and talked for 4 or 5 minutes. I think I had to go to break, and I was like, I'm not going to cut this lady off. I'm just going to let her keep going. She was tremendous. But anyways, in addition to Danny and Michelle, your parents got to see them when we were up there, and what a great family. I know they're incredibly proud of you. And one day they're going to have to pack up the car and drive to Baltimore.
Absolutely.
So you let us know of anything that we can do for you, my friend.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I appreciate you guys.
Can't wait to follow the ride and one hell of a career. Good job.
I appreciate it.
See you, bud.
See you, man.
Daniel Lloyd, former now right-handed pitcher at the University of South Carolina, proud alumni of the Gamecocks, the Somerville Green Wave, and you got to throw the Hanahan boys in there too.
I didn't know he played at Hanahan until you sent me those pictures. I looked at one. I said, wait a second. Like, what's this? Because I've always just considered him Somerville Gamecocks.
Yep. Started his career over there with Brian and the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you see what happened. He got out of that blue and orange at Hanahan. He said the orange isn't going to do.
Yeah, it's the colors. It's got to be the colors.
He went from green.
Got to be the colors.
Green to garnet, man.
Yeah,
that's what happened there. But that was neat. We don't get often enough to talk. I'd say, if you want to call it this way, on the record, maybe to some of the players, especially in college. Darren and I do a lot of college stuff around here, and they have a lot going on, and you got a lot of hurdles to jump through sometimes to get exclusive type interviews and conversations with them. So it's neat to be able to kind of catch up once they make that next step. And that was certainly well-deserved for a low country kid in Daniel Lloyd. He had a great career, man.
He did. I'll throw this in. Great career, great back nine. Oosthuizen, birdie, eagle, if not birdie, eagle. I'm not quite sure. He's 3 clear of the field now. Oosthuizen is heading to 15. He is 12 under par.
Wow. All right. So he just
Eagle
14. And he's got the most difficult hole coming up, and then another birdie hole at 16. So we'll keep our eyes on that. All right, it is time for our final timeout. If you need a sandwich, you need to get on any delivery app that you've got. DB's Cheesesteaks is there, and they'll deliver. Or just if you're going through West Ashley, jump in to DB's Cheesesteaks right there in Avondale in West Ashley, dbscheesesteaks.com. Don't forget the boardwalk fries, whatever you do. Try my favorite if you'd like, the buffalo chicken cheesesteak. It is some kind of special, and I got a feeling that's what we'll be ordering tonight because I have no desire to cook anything, and I was out of town for a week, and we haven't eaten it this week, and so there you go. Join the Bradford family in ordering from DB's Cheesesteaks tonight. When we get back, buy or sell, we've got 7 straight weeks of this as we lead you into football season. The over-under win totals, 2 ACC teams and 2 SEC teams each week until we commence. And then Dennis Dodd also, Shane Beamer, has never recruited at this level, according to the CBS Sports Reporter. He said it, I didn't. We'll address that as well right here on the JB and Goldwater Show, driven by Stokes Volkswagen.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road with exciting news. It's springtime and we're playing ball. Most dealerships don't have any inventory, but at Stokes Volkswagen we do. So we're playing ball on every new Volkswagen in stock. Every new Volkswagen available with 0 down. Qualified buyers can sign and drive with interest-free financing for 60 months. Remember, Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road is the fastest, easiest way to sell your car and get the most money for your trade. Plus, we'll take any trade in any condition, paid off or not. Is your credit in a slump? Strike 2! If you've got $500 down and you make at least $2,000 per month, our lenders can get you approved. So if you want to strike out, that's okay. But if you want to hit a home run and save on a new Volkswagen, come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road or StokesVW.com.
$1,666 per month per $1,000 borrowed for 60 months at 0% APR with 0 down. Plus tax tag. Includes $499.50 administration fee. Subject to VCI credit approval. Expires month end.
Peace and love at Stokes Speed Dub.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mowers. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
Shrimping season's back. That means local caught shrimp. That's right. Local caught shrimp back on the menu at the Dog and Duck. All three locations, Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road, now featuring once again local caught hand-breaded shrimp, plus other daily specials like the Game Day Burger every Wednesday, Rib Night on Friday, rotating taps all the time, and all the TVs you can possibly imagine for whatever you want to watch. The Dog and Duck in Bell Hall, Park West, and on Clements Ferry Road. Okay, what's going on today, huh? Anything to talk about?
All right, greetings and a good Monday afternoon. Greetings and a good Tuesday afternoon. Greetings and a good Wednesday afternoon, and welcome aboard. All right, greetings and a good Thursday afternoon. Greetings and a good Friday afternoon, and welcome aboard. 20 minutes, Darren. We could do it. I mean, we love all y'all, but we're ready to.
We're going to go bang on drums and watch Louis Oosthuizen pour in eagles and birdies and all
right. That's I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Yeah, when you take vacation in the media world, the week back feels like a month. It's been like that for me for literally since I've been doing this. What, 6 or 7 years?
Oh, that Monday itself this week felt like it was the longest day ever. And then whichever day it was this week, where 2 days ago, where we got up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and then we're up all day and you had your cars broken into. It's been a week, man. It's been a week.
Yeah. Like the kid said in that Ball State sports report. Remember that?
Which one?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. I remember what was that stupid thing that went viral?
The kid who was in Boom Goes the Dynamite.
Boom Goes the Dynamite.
That's what I'm talking about. At the end, they were like, "Thanks, Jeff." He was like, "Yeah." That's all he had to say.
I don't think I made it till the end. I saw Boom Goes the Dynamite, and I was like, "Boom Goes the video."
Oh, that poor kid, man. It's so. Oh gosh. All right. Anyways, back to reality here. Couple 20 more minutes or so, and then we're going to send you off to the weekend. Happy weekend, everybody, and thanks to Daniel Lloyd for joining us in that last segment. Great to speak with the former Gamecock right-hander. As Darren mentioned before we went to break, Louis Oosthuizen, the South African, is in the lead. He is 3 ahead of Colin Morikawa, and he's got 4 holes left to play at 12 under. Wow, what a day. By the way, that cut line still sits at 1 over par. Bryson DeChambeau is on it. He is at 1 over par. So a bogey might not be a good thing for him, and a birdie that'll should wrap it up into the weekend for Bryson.
DeChambeau just left a birdie putt on the last par 3. I want to say they were on the 8th, although that could be I'm sorry. They were on the there you go. They were on the 15th. He left a birdie putt on the par 3, like a rotation of the ball short.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. The another week, another rivalry between Bryson and Brooks, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Koepka today so eloquently stated he loves his driver. By the way, did you hear that? There was just a massive rumble of thunder out there.
No, but I mean, we don't live exactly.
Dude, my house just shook.
I did not hear that.
I don't know if you saw me look that way. I was trying to look out the windows. My house just shook.
My plan is to go to Lowe's after this. So, I mean, I'm not going to be upset if my plan is derailed because I'm not a fan of Lowe's or work.
Who cares? That's right. All right. It's time to buy or sell. Again, for the next 7 weeks, we'll do 4 of these per week. Buy or sell, over, under win totals. Yeah, out of the ACC and out of the SEC. It's presented in part by our friend Jeff McCarriger with Carolina One Real Estate right here in the low country of South Carolina. If you're headed this way, you're looking for a home, or you're leaving, or you're just needing to move, Trust Jeff McCarriger. Jeff.McCarriger at Carolina1.com. You don't want a realtor for a transaction. You want one for a lifetime. 834-7455. It's area code 843-834-7455. See? That was simple with Jeff McCarriger. All right. Over under win totals. And we'll start down there with Duke at 3.5. So, all right, the Blue Devils last year go 2-9, and remember it was a short season because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to play 10 games. They had that one non-con, 10 games in the ACC, and that one victory. By the way, Chase Bryce will not be back. He's at App State for those that maybe missed that. Pretty good pickup there for the Mountaineers, but that one win in the ACC was against Syracuse, 38-24. Look, I have a lot of confidence in David Cutcliffe, and I'll tell you what, even though game one, you look at it and you go, oh, well, that's a win. So and then they got North Carolina A&T, they're 2-0. Yo, that whole that's a win thing, it's at Charlotte. Now, Duke should go to Charlotte and win, and Duke should have plenty of fans at Charlotte and in the whole 9 yards. But I don't think it's a gimme. I don't. But I'm going to give it to them. The over/under 3.5. I'm going to give them 4 wins. Look, they host Kansas in week 4. How do you lose to Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're awful, Darren. They might be the worst Power 5 team in the country. Probably are. I just don't see it. So if you beat Charlotte, you beat A&T, you beat Kansas. There's an ACC win in there somewhere. Is it against North Carolina or Virginia Tech, both on the road? No. Is it against Miami at home? Probably not. I doubt that. But Georgia Tech, Virginia, Wake, Pittsburgh, Louisville, they're going to win one of them. I'll go slightly over, and we'll go with 4. How about 4 and 8 for Duke?
I'm right there with you. I can point to 3 that I think that they're going to win, 2 that they certainly should, and NC, A&T, and Kansas probably are going to beat Charlotte. Is there a 4th in there? Probably, if not even a 5th, because David Cutcliffe is a heck of a coach, and last year was not a good year. I don't think any Duke fan is crying that Chase Bryce isn't there anymore. He didn't fit. It didn't work. I think Duke takes a step forward this year and is over 3.5 wins. So our buy and sell, I am buying Duke over 3.5. By the way, these odds courtesy of mybookie.ag.
Yeah, and look, there's some things that are working against them, working in their favor. We could go through the roster and this, that, and the other. I mean, obviously the big thing is that Chase Bryce isn't there anymore. If he was still there, I think that over-under would probably be another number up, simply because of his experience in college football. You're probably looking at over-under 4.5. I would like to think he's probably worth at least another win, just name alone.
He wasn't this year.
No, he wasn't. But 2 years in the David Cutcliffe system, any quarterback is worth an extra win. I mean, he's just one of the great ones out there. But last year defensively, they just weren't good.
Mm-hmm.
And they did beat Charlotte though, 53-19. But Charlotte's probably looking to return that favor if they can. So, I'm going to give them 4, and that's purely. Again, we could go through the players and the stats and stuff. That's purely more based on David Cutcliffe. Maybe getting. But I'll say this about Cutcliffe: he's been around a long time. If it's a 4 and 8-ish type 5 and 7 year, it might be almost the end of the road for him. You know what I mean? Like, he might almost be like, I just don't know that I want to go through the grind of this rebuild over the next 2 or 3 years, and let's hang it up.
After the year he had last year, if it's a bad year this year, it could be the beginning of that. Yeah, I could see that happening. There was a time when there were still major schools coming after him when he was having his peak success at Duke, but he had no interest in going back to that route that he was at before. He liked, and I don't know about currently, but I know that he had in the past liked the comfort of Duke and liked the liked everything surrounding Duke, the academics, the campus, the feel of it all. So he didn't really entertain much of the thoughts of, hey, maybe we can pry Cutcliffe away from Duke. So if it's another bad year, maybe that starts seeping in.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with that. All right, back to the buy or sell board, brought to you by our friend Jeff McCarriger at Carolina One Real Estate here in the Low Country. Over under 3.5. It's Syracuse. They went 1-10 last year. I'm under. I'm at 3. Dino Babers missed his window, Darren, a few years ago. You remember that?
Yeah.
He was a hot name. Again, this is another one I'd like to say, yeah, there's probably 4 in there somewhere, but I'm going to go with 3. You got Rutgers in week 2, and that's a loss if you ask me.
Probably. It should be. Rutgers will be favored.
Yeah, and that game's at home. I get it, but I think it's a loss. And you look in the ACC, you got to go to Louisville, you got to go to NC State, you got to go to Virginia Tech. And I don't see any of those as wins. I don't see the Clemson game at all as a win. Florida State is not a win. Pittsburgh.
Liberty's dangerous.
Liberty's dangerous. I know. Now, and that, by the way, that's been set for an 8:00 kick up at Syracuse on a Saturday night, September the 24th. I'm going with 3. I think they're 3-9, and I think Dino Babers is out the door.
I'll only correct you here because I'm staring right at the schedule. It's a night game because it's a Friday night game there.
There you go.
Not like that matters to anybody who's watching when Syracuse and Liberty play.
Well, that might matter for Syracuse. That probably they're going to need the win.
It might give you something to watch if it's a decent game. I mean, because of who they're playing against and the quarterback who's like rising up draft boards. It's hard for me to sit there and say I can see 4 wins. That's hard for me to do. So I'm with you. I think they struggle to get to 3, so I'm under 3.5.
Yeah, they were bad. They were really bad last year, man. I mean, there wasn't outside of that. I just pulled up their schedule. I had glanced at it this morning. They got off on a tough note on the road at North Carolina and Pittsburgh, and then they did beat Georgia Tech, and then after that, it was just way down the tubes. They lost to Liberty by 17 points last year, and they got them this year, as you mentioned, on a Friday night. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's 3. All right, into the ACC we go. Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, 2 teams looking, I guess, if you want to call it a little bit of a rebound. Certainly, Vanderbilt didn't win a game last year. That'd be one hell of a rebound to get over 3.5 wins. Mississippi State last year only won 4 games. This year, their over-under win total sits at 6.5. So let's start with the Commodores, who come in with Clark Lee, new head football coach. They've got ETS. The start of their season is strange. And I don't know a ton about their personnel just yet. Darren, they've tried to do a lot of what Shane Beamer's done, try to revamp some things. They've taken some transfers and stuff like that. But they have a really weird first 3 games. None of them are in the league. They've got East Tennessee State. There's nothing strange about that. But then at Colorado State, and then they host Stanford in Nashville. Careful at Colorado State. You're going up in elevation, number 1, and number 2, you're on the road in week 2 with a new coach against a program that's trying to get it figured out there, but they'll battle you. And then I don't think they're going to beat Stanford in week 3. And then, it's Georgia. They should beat UConn. So UConn, ETSU, and then do they win a game in the SEC this year? I just don't think so. Maybe they do, but I just don't think so. I'm at 3.
Yeah, because according to mybookie.ag, if we're setting it at 3.5 and we're saying, do they win an SEC game to get to 3? Well, do you win 2 SEC games to get to 4? Right. That's the question. So, no, I've got them under. I agree. You should beat ETSU. You should beat UConn. Is there a game in the SEC that you get? Probably, because it's a new head coach. I'll go, okay, maybe you're going to jump up and bite somebody. The most likely of that would be South Carolina, based on what their schedule is, right? I mean, you got to think that Missouri's probably going to be a step ahead. You got to think that Kentucky's probably a step ahead. So the most likely game there would be Carolina, even though it's in Columbia. But they're not getting to 4. I don't think they're getting to 4.
And remember, Carolina's beaten them 12 straight years. So, it's and that game's in Columbia. I'm with you. I think it's 3. And but I think they battle. I think they compete. I just don't think that they win a lot of games. And then finally, Mississippi State, who comes in after winning 4 games last year. The over-unders by mybookie.ag has been set at 6.5. Last year, I thought, okay, they're probably going to win a game that they shouldn't. And they did. The first one, a 10-point win on the road at LSU. Everybody remember that? They hung 44 on the board, and it was like, oh, my God, Mike Leach has arrived, and Mississippi State is going to cause all types of chaos in the West. And they promptly lost 4 straight, starting with a loss by a touchdown against Arkansas the following week. Remember, KJ Costello was the new QB in town. That was a wild scene. It was like, oh, my gosh, Mississippi State just went to Baton Rouge and beat the national champions by 10. What the hell is happening? But they finished the year at 4-7, and that's because they beat Tulsa in a bowl game that they only were able to play in because there weren't enough teams to play in bowl games. So what does it look like in 2021? Well, they're going to start out with La Tech and Skip Holtz. This is another one, just like Vanderbilt. It is a strange start to the year. La Tech, NC State, both coming to Starkville, and then they hit the road for Memphis. And then they've got LSU, and I know that game is in Starkville, and I know they'll be rabid and wild. But LSU has not forgotten about what happened last year on the Bayou, so careful there. It's, by the way, that 3-game stretch, LSU, at Texas A&M, Bama. Hello. So what happens at the start of the year? Well, that's what matters. You know that. They're going to beat Tennessee State. They're going to beat Vanderbilt. And then if you can get yourself a couple of wins to start, if you beat La Tech, if you beat I don't think they go 3-0 to start, Darren. I'll be shocked if they do. They either slip up at Memphis or they slip up at home against NC State. I'm under with Mississippi State. I'm right on it. I'm at 6. I think they go 6-6.
Yeah, the reason I'm under here, so we're all in agreement. Both of us are in agreement with the entire thing here. We went over for Duke and under for Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and for Syracuse here, and for good reason, right? Because I can't find on this Mississippi State schedule 5 games that I'm really confident they're going to win. So am I going to get to 6.5? Am I going to get to 7? No, I don't see that. And the way things ended at Mississippi State last year, you already laid it out. I mean, they were world beaters to start the year, and then it just imploded. Their best player quit, for lack of a better word, as many other players. It was, as described by many people, oil and water with Mike Leach down there. Does it get fixed? And do they win 7 games? Are they over 500 this year after imploding at the end of last year? No. You're going to have to show me that for me to buy that.
I'm with you. I think what happens in year 2 is exactly what's happened in year 2 for Mike Leach in both of his stops, Texas Tech and Washington State. He won 7 in year 2 at Washington State. He won 6 in year 2. 7 in year 2. 7 in year 2 at Texas Tech, 6 in year 2 at Washington State. Not much of an improvement from year 1 to year 2 at Texas Tech. They won 7 games both years, 1 and 2, and then made that jump to 9 in year 3. But at Washington State, he went from 3 to 6. So I do think that they will improve, but I don't think it's a 7 or 8 game type season in the win column. I think it's 6, and I think 6-6 is probably a really good year for Mississippi State. I think they lose a game or 2. They probably look back and go, we should have won, and they probably win a game or 2 that they shouldn't have won. That's kind of the Mike Leach story. It always has been because of what he does from an offensive standpoint. And if it's all clicking that day, you can beat anybody.
I'll say this. They do have a chance to end the year strong, because if you're ending the year at Vandy, Kentucky, at Arkansas, who knows?
Absolutely.
Right? At Auburn, let's see. Tennessee State, Ole Miss. If you get to that Ole Miss game with a little bit of momentum, there's every chance in the world that we could have this conversation next year and say, remember how they ended 2021? I think they're an 8-win team for 2022 if they can get through that back half and pick up some momentum there.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, the Egg Bowl back where it rightfully belongs. Thanksgiving night, 7:30 on ESPN. Buy or sell, brought to you by our friend Jeff McCarriger, Carolina One Real Estate. Jeff.McCarriger at CarolinaOne.com. Final couple minutes here before we run on the Crunch Time Plays podcast. Dennis Dodd said, and when asked about Shane Beamer, well, he's never been a coordinator, and he's never recruited at this level. That gives me pause. What? He's been recruiting at this level since 2003, if not more. He's recruited at this level in the last 10 years more than Steve Spurrier has. He was the guy that recruited the guys for Steve Spurrier and Lincoln Riley, and he Kirby Smart, I'll say, has more influence on it, but he's done nothing but recruit for literally 18, 19 years. Way misinformed, just like he was 2 days before he got hired and saying that Hugh Freeze was going to be the head coach at South Carolina. I respect Dennis Dodd and always have, but I've been vocal about picking on him here and there because it's just wrong. What he's saying isn't true. And he said that Brian Harsin also has more experience than Shane Beamer. Guys, that's not true either. Brian Harsin has spent all of 2 years in Power 5 football. That's it.
But he's been a head coach.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm talking about when it comes to recruiting the guys that are playing at this level. Brian Harsin doesn't have any more experience than Shane Beamer, not even close. It's not remotely close, actually. But what offsets Brian Harsin is he's been a successful head coach at Boise State, a very successful head coach.
Right.
So there are great comparisons, and I think that they can be compared. But to say that Shane Beamer hasn't recruited at this level is just a lie. It's a flat out lie, is what it is. So that we say this often. Listen to your local sources, and I'm not talking about me or Darren. I'm talking about listen to your local sources. Dude, come on. I tell you what, man, I had a lot of fun today. Daniel Lloyd, Raphael Esparza, and Skylar Meade. Great people, great stories. If you missed any of it, I would encourage you to grab your bourbon, sit on the porch tonight, and go back and listen or watch. They provided a lot of great stuff. Darren always provides great stuff. He's the best co-host and producer out there.
You too, man. You make it easy.
Really appreciate all of that. We appreciate all of you, and really appreciate the weekend. Thank God. Hey, Media Day starts Monday. Y'all aren't going to believe it. We got you totally covered next week. Can't wait. Football is back, baby. We'll see you then on the JB and Goldwater Show, driven by Stokes Volkswagen.
Drop it down and 4x4.